Let's talk about Donald Trump. Truth Social parent company shares skyrocket during market debut, triggering trading pause. The jump was so big, it opened at $49.95 and quickly jumped to $72 before 10:30 a.m. We have this from Yahoo. It's currently sitting at close at about $58, $57.99. We saw the peak was around, I believe it was $70, what do we have, $77, or was it a little higher than that? About $77. So currently now sitting just shy of $60. Looks like Donald Trump just made about another $1 billion. This story, I think, is one of the most important stories in U.S. history. Donald Trump has, and I can't believe it's not been done before, but I guess with the rise of the Special Purpose Acquisition Company, the SPAC, you're buying shares of Trump himself. So you can buy shares of Trump's company. I'm not saying you should. I'm saying when on Fox News today, there's that liberal woman, I don't know her name, but she was like, it's not worth it. The company, there's no way the stock is worth it. Nobody cares. Trump supporters are buying shares of Donald Trump and they're not going to sell them. If someone tries to short, do like an institutional short against DJT, all Trump supporters are going to start buying up and holding.
Yep.
And they're going to shut down these institutions that try to attack the Trump stock, meaning the likelihood based on the Trump fervor, his support base, is upward trajectory. I don't see why the stock would go down. Trump supporters who are buying it and driving it high aren't the ones who sold. It was probably retail investors who bought into it, decided to cash out, but Trump supporters are buying and holding. This means that Trump can fund his campaign off of this stock. He's made himself one of the wealthiest people, top 500 wealthiest people in the country. This is kind of wild. Imagine this. This is actually one of the Krasensteins brought this up, and I am equally concerned about this. Let's say China starts buying up a bunch of shares, driving the price skyrocketing. Trump then sells a bunch of the shares, cashes out a cool $1 billion and funds his campaign off of it. This is going to allow foreign actors to directly support presidential candidates. So I don't know how everyone feels about that. All I know is this is a major historical moment watching this. And it's good for Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good for Donald Trump. There's the problem of his bail or bond kind of goes away. We've talked about this last night. It should be, in theory, it should be easy to be able to find someone to loan you the money against that kind of stock. That's what Musk did to fund his purchase of X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. So it's good for his wallet, and
he's going to fund his campaign off it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that as long as it's not illegal, I don't know campaign finance laws, and I don't know what kind of laws surround it. But if there is any law that he even approaches breaking, there is going to be a DA frothing at the mouth, ready to issue charges on him. So
Trump could jaywalk right now, and they'd give him jail time for it.
Yep.
They're going to be like, well, it is a petty infraction that normally gets a ticket, but
when you did it, jail for life.
Yeah. I'll give it 30 days for jaywalking. 30 days.
That's really horrible. We talk about the ramifications of this kind of abuse of government, on a essentially just an American citizen. It's unprecedented, and it's definitely set the tone for the way that people feel about New York entirely. Look, going into the city for my band, playing in the city is tough because you've got, your bus and you got trailers and you got parking, and it's a pain in the butt. I can't imagine. And there's all kinds of fees and stuff that you have to pay just to get your vehicle in and stuff. There was a time where they were talking about can't bring your bus in. You have to drive in vans and stuff. So it's always been weird and a pain in the butt. I can't imagine what it's like for, a large company to try to build a building there. It's got to be a nightmare. And then with the government, the state government saying, look, we're going to attack this political person, or attack this person over politics we don't like. Kevin Leary, is it O'Leary or Kevin Leary?
O'Leary. I was just
Kevin
going to say,
O'Leary,
he is going on a mission right now.
Is he doing more? Please tell me more.
Well, he's just going on every media, it's the full media circuit. And every interview, just going off and screaming at the top of his lungs, like, this is this is not America. You don't do this. This is destroying everything. And he's like, I'm about to go raise $3 billion to build a new data center. He goes, and I won't build it in New York. He goes, nobody will. Everybody keeps asking me all around the world, what is going on in New York? And he's like, well, I just trust me. This is not normal. This is not the case. He's like, but we've got to do something about this. It's got to be overturned. It is making everybody nervous to spend money in this state and city that, O'Leary loves, but he will not spend another dime there right now.
It's a bad
because
investment right now.
It's horrible. Nobody wants to put that kind of money up with that risk on the line. It's just not worth it. It's scary.
Yeah, and another thing that people don't, I think your average person doesn't think about very frequently is when you're dealing with, loans and the amount of money, the large sums they're talking about, like 1% and 2% of billions of dollars is a whole lot of money that people are not okay with just watching,
Right.
Evaporate. It's like, you might be like, well, I can go ahead and deal with, 2.5 points on my, or 0.25 points on my loan or whatever. But those same 0.25 loan points on something at $1 billion or whatever, that people aren't messing around with that kind of money. So if there's any kind of risk, the first rule of investing is preserve your capital.
So reportedly, Trump, Truth Social loses $49 million. Over the same period, makes somewhere around $3 or $4 million. So the argument, plainly from a lot of people, is there's no way this stock is anywhere near this value. Especially when you look at other larger companies that generate a healthy profit that don't have a stock value of this high. But this is what's scary to me, is that it doesn't matter if the stock makes money at all. It doesn't matter if the Trump supporters want to buy it. They do. The corporation or Trump could sell these shares to fans and use that capital to finance the platform. This is activist investing, funding a company, investing in it, not because of its success as a business, but because of its ideological importance to the people who are buying into it.
Right. I wish we could see the number of first-time stock buyers right now who are like, I don't care about any of this, but I am getting the stock.
Yeah.
GameStop 2.0, but this is a political version of it instead of a bored at home trying to learn how to invest version.
Oh, this is a scary future.
If people started shorting this, or if there was some kind of, the same kind of drama that the GameStop people were involved in there with this, it would definitely be obviously very, very good for Trump.
It would bankrupt any institution that tries. So the Krasensteins were like, there's going to be major short positions against DJT. There's no way it's worth this. And I'm like, oh no, there won't be. If you are a bank and you try and short this and you get Donald Trump's base, which they say has a solid 40 to 44%, every single one of Trump's supporters will just start buying the shares to screw over anyone who tried to screw over Trump, and you will bankrupt your institution.
Yeah, and as a side note, I think it's hilarious. This little stock situation is a clear, it's clear destruction of the labor theory of value. So Marxists are BTFO. If people are willing to pay, premium. Just because a premium price, just because it says Donald Trump on it, don't tell me that the
and they
worker
are.
sets the
Dude
price.
sold NFTs and he sold them out.
I was a little surprised this didn't debut at $45. Like, I get $49.99, but 45 is his presidential number.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how gimmicky we were going to go with stocks.
I love that he sold NFTs as trading cards so that way boomers would buy them.
And they sold out.
Yes, I know. It's great. I love it.
But here's the reality: is a lot of these people don't care. They're just donating to Donald Trump because he asked.
Yep.
And I don't think anybody thought like this Donald Trump astronaut card is going to make me a cool $1 million. They were just like, I'll buy it. I'll help Trump out.
Those are the same people that got 2 bottles of Trump water from El Dorado or from wherever. They brought one home to put on the mantle, and then the other one they drank.
Yeah.
They wanted to show their friends.
I mean, the thing about Trump is that he has such a strong base that really rallies around him. They believe in what he symbolized for the country, so they're willing to say, like, I'm going to buy your stock, I'm going to buy your wine, I'm going to show up for you in ways that I wouldn't just for a random presidential candidate, because he has turned this into something larger than just politics.
When I was working at Fusion, you had the narrative from a lot of these anti-Trump people, like, oh, Trump's had all these bankruptcies. And there was one story like, where's Trump steak? Where's Trump magazine? Where's Trump water? And, I Googled it and I was like, oh, those are white label products for his golf resorts and his hotels. So when you go to Trump Doral, you can read Trump magazine and you can get a Trump. I don't know if they still have it, but when I was there, I'm pretty sure they did. And so certainly when I checked into my room, this is really funny because my assistant booked me a room at Trump Doral for some reason. I was like, hey, I'm coming to the office. I need a hotel. And Trump Doral was right next to the Fusion office.
Awesome.
So they put me at a golf resort
They were
during
testing you.
like
Do
the
you like
World
this?
Championship golf
What
game.
year was this?
2014, I think.
Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
this was like, that makes sense.
Oh, no. I think this was.
They
no,
would be averse to it now, right?
No, this was 2015 or 16, actually, because this is when Trump was, obviously, 2014 was too early. It was the end of 2014 when I started, so this is probably end of 2015. And so what do I see? Bottles of Trump water. So I took them, and I brought them back to New York, and I was like, my friends, here's your Trump water. And they were like, what? But we thought it doesn't exist. And I'm like, they're at his buildings. He has his own bottle of water. Hotels have their own water. It's not a big deal.
He did just drop his own Bible today, too.
Oh, wow. I mean, hey, more power to him.
I could be
was a
wrong.
Babylon
You know what
Bee
they put
prophecy
in the
fulfilled.
nightstands of hotels? Bibles. I'm surprised we didn't get here sooner.
It's like the God Bless America Trump Bible. Like, he really did.
Just in time for Easter.
I could be wrong, but I think that the band Korn bought a bus company, so that way they would always have a buses available.
makes
to them.
sense to me.
Which I mean, and it could be that Metallica did the same thing. I think Metallica owns like a lot of the production. Like you start another company. I mean, I own two companies that run All That Remains, right? So it's normal to be like, all right, well, this entity does this and this entity does that, and to just start your own business. You know, if you got something like Trump, like Donald Trump, who's got the funds to, you know, to be like, okay, maybe it's cheaper for me to go ahead and supply my properties with stuff if I own the company that just sends it. And, you know, it makes sense. So, and then you know, in the Trump magazine, of course, you're going to be like, look, you can get Trump this and Trump that, because again, people will be like, look, here's my Trump water. It sits on my mantle next to my Bible that I bought at Trump Doral.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.